Unless you're able to read the minds of others, you'll have to talk to them to get the information you need for your report. By the way, if you are able to read the minds of others, you may want to seek a more lucrative line of work. All kidding aside, today's video will cover the art of interviewing people in the field to gather information for your security report. Most of your reports will require you to interview one or more people in the field, so this is a critical skill to develop. In fact, the quality of the information you collect and the experience of the person being interviewed hinges on your interviewing skills. So who do you need to interview? Here's the top 3 categories of people you'll encounter at most incidents. The witness. The witness is a person who experienced the incident in some way, shape, or form through their senses. For example, the witness may have smelled smoke and then opened the door to a room and saw a fire. The victim. The victim is a person who was directly impacted by the incident. They may have been hurt by an assault, had their belongings stolen from their office, scammed over the phone, or struck by a car in the parking lot. Hopefully not all of those things. The suspect. The suspect is a person who is thought to be responsible for an incident. This may be established through a number of means, including your direct observations or through information gathered from witnesses and/or victims. The suspect may still be on the scene or may need to be interviewed later. By the way, when you're interviewing a suspect, you should be sure to take appropriate precautions to ensure your safety. This includes maintaining an appropriate distance to allow you time to react to an attack, blading your body at a 45-degree angle to minimize exposure of your vulnerable areas to the suspect, and using a contact cover approach if you have another officer with you. With the contact cover approach, one officer interviews the suspect while the second officer provides cover. That is, they stand at an advantageous angle to the suspect at an appropriate distance where they have sufficient space to react to a possible attack or to intervene to protect the contact officer from harm. The cover officer also observes the suspect's body language for signs of danger and maintains awareness of the surroundings and possible approaching threats. Lastly, the cover officer should verbally notify the officer of dangers or when it's time to otherwise disengage from the suspect. How to interview. Once you've identified who was involved in the incident, then you'll want to speak with them to gather information. When you're interviewing these people, it is important to follow these 5 guidelines to help ensure your success. Separate each person and interview them one at a time. There's nothing worse than having 2 or more people tell you what is happening at the same time. Have you ever watched a daytime TV show or reality TV show where everyone's talking at the same time and shouting over each other? Now imagine trying to take notes on that conversation, if you can call it that. This is an extreme example, of course, but my point is that you'll want to keep each person separate so that you can get their statements about the incident recorded without being interrupted and without having another person influence their perceptions or recollections in the moment. This is especially important when you have a possible suspect and the victim at the scene at the same time. Show empathy and interest. Whether someone is a victim or a witness, they may have experienced something out of the ordinary that has made them concerned, afraid, anxious, or has caused them real or imagined harm. Put yourself in their shoes. How would you feel if you just witnessed this or if this happened to you? How would you want to be spoken to and supported? Treat people the way you would want to be treated. Remain professional and respectful, but don't forget to be human. Also, be sure to tell them why you are talking to them, what information you're looking for, and how long they can expect it to take. Listen, listen, listen. Before you take any notes, listen first. I cannot tell you how many security officers start writing notes while the person is speaking to them. Do you think someone feels listened to if you're not even making eye contact with them? Also, think about how it sounds the first time someone tells you about what happened during an incident. It could be all over the place, out of order, and might include irrelevant information. Instead, listen to everything the person has to say and then start taking notes. When talking to the person, ask open-ended questions to get the person to start speaking to you. Open-ended questions are those that prompt the person to begin speaking freely. Closed-ended questions are those that may have a yes or no answer and do not necessarily get the person to give you enough information beyond the options you have presented. If you are able to sit down with the person to show that you are there to listen and hear their side of the story, take notes. Now it's time to start writing. After you've listened to the person's account of what happened, ask them to repeat it. Along the way, ask questions where you need more information or clarification. Don't write everything down that they say. You're not a court stenographer trying to capture every single word. Write brief sentences that contain the most important information you're hearing to help jog your memory later. This is also where you'll want to gather more precise information on certain things, like a license plate number, a serial number of a stolen item, the clothing description of a suspect, the contact phone number for a witness, and more. Also think about whether you are recording facts or opinions from the person you're interviewing. You should ask yourself whether you have all the information you need while writing your notes, and if the answer is no, ask the questions needed to fill in the blanks. Keep your notes focused on the most important information and filter out the irrelevant information you may have picked up during the interview process that may have nothing to do with the incident. Review and verify. Read back your notes to the person you're interviewing to ensure you've captured all of the information accurately. This may even prompt the person to offer additional info or clarifying details as they hear it back, which can be very helpful. Double check the details such as license plate numbers, phone numbers, physical descriptions of a suspect, spelling of names, and any direct quotes you are including from the person. Check to ensure you have all the information you need to create a report that answers the questions who, what, when, where, why, and how. Remember 5WH. Okay, time to review. The 5 key takeaways for interviewing people for your report are: 1. Separate each person and speak to them one at a time. Use contact cover when interviewing a suspect whenever possible. 2. Show empathy and interest. 3. Listen. 4. Take notes. And 5. Review and verify the information you have collected. There you have it, the keys to effective interviewing for your reports. Be sure to subscribe to my channel by hitting the subscribe button so you see all the latest and greatest videos. Also, I want to hear from you. Drop me a comment below to tell me what you'd like to learn from my channel or just questions you might have. Until next time, I'm Dave Corbin, and this is From Guard to Pro.